doing this. I cannot believe what a long road it's been, but I am just so excited to see your beautiful faces. I am April Engermeyer, and I serve as the current board president for Trinity Haven. And I have the distinct honor of opening this momentous event. It's amazing to look out and see all the faces of the people who have given all their time, their talents, and their money to make sure that Trinity Haven could happen. And to really support Trinity Haven's mission of providing safe, affirming housing for LGBTQ youth experiencing housing instability. Due to the pandemic, we really had to limit who we could invite to this event. So I know that if you're here, you have done the work, put in the work to make this happen. And we will be forever grateful for your support and your generosity. I really think we could fill an entire stadium with all the people who have donated and supported Trinity Haven through this time. And actually, if you look on the back there, you can see all the boards of names of people who have given money, who have donated their time, all of that. So please check those out. I am just really overjoyed with all of the organizations that have given so much to make this happen. I wanted to thank a couple in particular. First, the Lilly Endowment, who gave $300,000 to help towards the purchase of this beautiful home. The Impact 100, who gave $100,000 to help furnish and help renovate this home and make sure it was safe and welcoming for all of our residents. The Anonymous Fund at the Central Indiana Community Foundation, which is providing vital operating support for Trinity Haven. And finally, I cannot forget to mention Trinity Episcopal Church, whose parishioners rallied together to raise $250,000 for Trinity Haven. And beyond that, the church also gave us $50,000 to help us get this home and help with a loan at a time when we would not have been able to secure a loan through a bank. So we're so grateful for your support and your generosity and all of your guidance through this entire process. I want to start by giving a huge thank you to the Discernment Committee at Trinity Episcopal Church, who, when they were looking for a need to fill in the community and found out that 40% of youth experiencing homelessness were LGBTQ, they knew they had to do something about it. Secondly, I want to recognize the implementation team who took this idea and started turning it into reality. They worked for over a year to find the perfect home, to file for nonprofit status, and to make sure that we could build an amazing board full of people who were dedicated to this mission. If you served on the implementation team, could you please stand up and be recognized? Board members, both past and present, that have put in so much work to make this happen. This group of people has such a passion for our mission. And any time that I have felt overwhelmed by the obstacles facing us, I've looked to them to re-energize me and keep us focused on our goals. If you have served or do serve on the Trinity Haven board, could you please stand up and be welcome? Look at all those beautiful faces. Special recognition to Leanne Hirschman. She's served in that role until just last month, so it's really her that should probably be standing up here, to be honest. And she's essentially been working full time to make sure that Trinity Haven is everything that we had hoped it would be and that it's sustainable. Thank you so much. I want to say a little bit about what motivates me to do this work. When I first got connected to Trinity Haven, when it was just an idea, I saw so much potential for this to be a truly affirming, anti-oppressive space. A place that would challenge the concept that support and care should somehow be conditional. The board recently revisited our values, and I really felt compelled to share them with you today. We believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every human, and we celebrate our differences. We believe that Black Lives Matter and expect our board, staff, and volunteers to commit to confronting and dismantling racism in our institutions. We believe that all LGBTQ individuals are worthy and deserving of love, compassion, protection, and respect. We believe that Trinity Haven will thrive only when board, staff, volunteers, and everyone that's involved holds themselves accountable and to the highest standards of integrity. We believe in providing a safe, welcoming, affirming environment that encourages empathy and honesty among residents, staff, volunteers, and supporters. Promotes kind interactions among all who engage in life and work at Trinity Haven. Celebrates LGBTQ identities and encourages positive self-expression in the youth we serve. Utilizes a strengths-based approach and healing-centered approach to all interactions, infusing compassion and understanding into all that we do. Provides safety, security, and stability. Honors personal and professional boundaries. Acknowledges that each resident is the expert in their own life and encourages them to make informed decisions and become accountable for their own education, employment, health, and wellness. And finally, creates a sense of pride for all who live and work at Trinity Haven. These are the values that we keep front of mind when we do this work. These are the values that serve as my personal guideposts when I make decisions and what keeps me excited and engaged in this work. Working with this amazing group of board members and staff has been refreshing, reinvigorating, grounding, and really has renewed my faith in humanity's ability to care for one another and create a community in which no one is disposable, where every person is deserving of love, compassion, and respect.
That's right.
I want to end on this quote from the great Audre Lorde. In our work and in our living, we must recognize that difference is a reason for celebration and growth, rather than a reason for destruction. I have the honor of introducing an amazing human being today, the Reverend Julia Whitworth, Rector of Trinity Episcopal Church. She's been working tirelessly on this project since the beginning, and I know that many of us depend on her steadiness, her guidance, and her compassion every single day, and especially when challenges arise. I know I personally will be forever grateful that Trinity Haven brought us together. Reverend Julia.
Thank you, April, and I'm grateful too. And I'm grateful for all of you. It is amazing to be standing here today, looking at all these half faces of people I love, and people who love the mission of Trinity Haven. It's my task, it's my privilege to tell you a little bit about some of the earliest days of Trinity Haven, about how we got from one crazy idea of a possibly crazy priest newly arrived from New York in 2016 to where we are now, almost 5 years later, accomplishing our mission to provide safe and supportive, affirming housing for LGBTQ youth, both in this beautiful home and in host homes throughout Indianapolis. Trinity Haven is a big story. intervention into vast systems of violence, neglect, and trauma which continually threaten LGBTQ youth in our community. Many of the people at the start of this story were my people, my Trinity parishioners, my beloveds. That discernment team that April mentioned, led by the inimitable John Cron, recognized that creating a home like this would not only address a vital unmet need, it would also make an important statement that ours is a radically inclusive church, that there are Christians who strive to counter the damaging messages perpetuated by some religious communities that persecute queer and trans people using a hateful distortion of what should only be a gospel of love. And most of all, that ours is a God who loves all, affirms all, hates nothing God has made. This is a place for all. In fact, Trinity became so passionate about this mission, housing LGBTQ plus young people, that when our original house was no longer viable, we got to work figuring out how to find and finance a new house, a bigger house, this house, and making it possible for Trinity Haven to own it independently. April's already spoken of the generosity of Trinity folks, and also from the many, many folks in our partner St. Richard's School. It's been abundant, and over $350,000 donated, as well as boundless wisdom, skill, leadership, and services volunteered, which have moved this project from idea to beautiful reality. I cannot name you all, of course, but I'd love you. But this story is not just about Trinity, not at all. We would not be here without the significant support and collaboration from many institutions and individuals in our earliest years. Again, there are too many to name, but here are some really significant first friends of Trinity Haven. Lindsay Rabinowitz and Mike and Sue Smith from Faith in Action at CTS, who gave us our very first grant in 2017. Lena Hackett at Community Solutions, along with the amazing April Hagermeyer. Alan Witchy and the Coalition for Homelessness Intervention and Prevention, and our friends and advisors at Ice Miller and Maureen Sternberg. Thank you all for walking with us in those earliest days. Now to Chris Paulson. Since I first met her in Hubbard and Cravens in the summer of 2017, and we shook hands and said, yeah, let's do this. Chris, Executive Director of IYG, has spent countless hours working with us towards this day, lending her expertise in LGBTQ youth, advocacy, and justice making in this community. Thank you, Chris, for all that you do for LGBTQ youth. We cannot overstate the importance of Impact 100, whose Giving Circle awarded us $100,000 in 2018. Their support gave this fledgling organization visibility, credibility, and confidence during a particularly vulnerable period in our development. Again, thank you, Impact 100. And as April has mentioned, Trinity Haven, like so many organizations in Indianapolis, has been deeply blessed by the Lilly Endowment's commitment, both to religious institutions and community development. The endowment's generosity was transformative for us, and we're very grateful, especially for the leadership of Brian Williams, who's with us today. Thank you. And then there's the Diocese of Indianapolis, or should I say, Indianapolis and Southern and Central Indiana, which is the full name of our great Bishop Jennifer's diocese. You'll meet her in a moment. I will tell you from the earliest days, Bishop Jennifer has been a deep and steady supporter of Trinity Haven. Through her leadership and that of Canon Brennan O'Sullivan Hale and the Reverend Jeff Bauer, we became a cooperating ministry of this diocese, accessing fair and abundant benefits for our employees for the future. We have received generous support of several other Episcopal parishes, especially St. Paul's and Christ Church Cathedral. Our diocese mission says that it seeks to stand with the vulnerable and marginalized to transform systems of injustice. I'm grateful that Trinity Haven is one part of that mission. Believe it or not, I've really only touched the first few years of Trinity Haven's support. Since then, we have gained a fantastic board, expanded our circle of relationship, partnership, and friendship. I really hope you'll take time to read all 800 of the names of individuals and organizations that have carried Trinity Haven to this moment. It takes a community to build any new initiative, and we have a remarkable community here. Now, there are two other people who need to be acknowledged again and again in the telling of any Trinity Haven story. April already spoke a bit about Leanne Hirschman, but I've got to add to it. From that first discernment committee meeting, she said, "I'll take the notes." Leanne's really good at taking notes. From that point forward, Leanne was a critical leader in this project. She became head of our implementation team, then founding president of Trinity Haven Board. And during those 4 years, she has been a remarkable autodidact, developing prodigious skills of grant writing and fundraising, deep knowledge of governance and institutional strategy, not to mention best practices in addressing LGBTQ homelessness, and the complexities of public-private partnerships, too many to name. At Trinity Haven's most fragile moment, Leanne put her successful career as a writer on hold to shepherd us through. Her intelligence, grace, perseverance, and grit are unparalleled. It has been a privilege to witness Leanne move from being an extraordinary volunteer to finding a passionate vocation. And I can say without hesitation or equivocation that Trinity Haven would not be open today without her leadership. And then there is Jenny White.
Come on now.
Rainbow-clad, vibrant Jenny White, our founding executive director. When Jenny became our first employee 2 years ago, we knew that her professional experience with people experiencing homelessness was ideal for Trinity Haven. What became very clear, very fast, was that her emotional intelligence, her heart for justice, and her zeal for life itself would give Trinity Haven the kind of love sorely needed to make any institution take off. After 2 years of working in challenging isolation, Jenny's an extrovert. It's been a joy to watch Jenny flourish as she's assembled her fabulous staff and welcomed Trinity Haven's first residents in the last months. Congratulations, Jenny.
Jenny! All right, J-Dub!
It has been the privilege of my life to be a part of this amazing story and the amazing people of Trinity Haven. And you are those amazing people. Thank you for joining us on this special day and for your part in creating safe and affirming homes for LGBTQ young people. I'm so pleased to introduce you to Jenny White, founding executive director of Trinity Haven.
J-Dub!
No, we did. We did.
My name is Jenny White. My pronouns are she or they, and I am the executive director of Trinity Haven.
Yeah!
absolutely my pleasure to serve in this capacity, and I, too, am overjoyed to share this moment with you. This moment, this momentous occasion, the opening of our doors to LGBTQ youth and young adults here in Indiana who are experiencing homelessness, who have been displaced. May this moment be the first of many where they know they have a home, a place where they are safe, welcome, and celebrated for exactly who they are.
Yeah.
Yes.
As we know, an estimated 40% of all homeless youth identify as LGBTQ. And the most common reason for homelessness among these youth is family rejection of their sexual orientation and gender identity. Publisher and author Marcus Harrison Green said, "There is a significant difference between all are welcome here, and this was created with you in mind."
Yeah.
Friends, Trinity Haven was created with these young people in mind. I joined the Trinity Haven family a little over 2 years ago, and I can honestly say I had no idea the journey to this day, to this moment, would be so long, so full of twists and turns and bumps in the road. But here we are. And instead of saying we will be, by God, we can say we are.
We are.
We are Indiana's very first residential program to focus on the needs of LGBTQ youth and young adults. And in fact, our mission is already in motion. As we already have 2 incredible young people living here, and another fabulous human is moving in tomorrow.
All right.
Friends, our house is finally a home. And we are launching not just 1, but 2 housing programs so that young people can choose what makes the most sense to them as they begin their journey towards independence. Here in this house is our long-term transitional living program, which offers up to 24 months of housing for LGBTQ youth across the entire state of Indiana. We have room for 8 young people, as well as 2 staff who also live on site. This program was made possible through the generosity of every single person sitting here today, and hundreds of others, all of whom are mentioned on the boards behind you. So please, after the event, after we cut this ribbon, take some time and acknowledge not only those names, blood, sweat, and tears that come right off. In fact, I think we should give all of you a round of applause. Let's give it up for yourselves. Our second housing program that we are also launching in May is our short-term host homes program, which offers an average of 6 months of housing and intensive case management for youth here in Indianapolis and Marion County. This program matches young people with volunteer hosts in our community who have a spare room and an open heart, giving them space and support as they work with our staff on what comes next. On Monday, just next week, we will complete the training for the first cohort of hosts, and shortly thereafter, we will begin the match process. This program was made possible by the City of Indianapolis and the Coalition for Homelessness Intervention and Prevention, or CHIP, with funding from the Youth Homelessness Demonstration Project. So let's give them all.
Yeah.
Now, both housing services, independent living skills, stabilization assistance, case management, and care coordination with the ultimate goal of permanent housing that the young person can sustain and afford on their own. Both are considered transitional housing, but the key difference is the length of time and the location. Here in this house, our transitional living program house director and resident assistant will help to co-create our community with our residents. We'll hold weekly circles to establish expectations and accountability agreements, assign chores, and discuss all the things that make life so meaningful. Our youth engagement specialist will provide case management and will hold monthly circles for both of our programs so that they can cover topics that relate to independent living and well-being, to provide space for them to have social connections and peer support. And our program coordinator will hold monthly circles with all our volunteer hosts to provide space for them to learn from each other, to lean on each other, and to create a network of support for each other as well. At Trinity Haven, in both of our housing programs, residents will find a safe harbor and a welcoming staff ever ready to assist and support. Let me tell you about this staff.
Come on now.
This team. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that we could have assembled a dream team of heroes. Each and every one of them, each and every one of these incredible humans is uniquely gifted and talented. They have a variety of lived and professional experiences that are perfectly aligned to this work, and I could not be more excited to introduce you to them right now. Kelsey, Lakeisha, Carmen, and Britt, and our interns, Dakota and Kelly, please stand up and Okay, I have two more things to share with you today, and they are both very exciting and new pieces of information. I am delighted to make an announcement that I think will be very meaningful to many of you who've been with us from the beginning. Thanks to work between the City of Indianapolis Continuum of Care and the Department of Child Services, and with help from Kathy Osborne at Bakery Drinker, we can not only accept youth ages 16 to 24 in our post-home program, but also youth ages 16 to 21 here in our transitional living program. Many people have worked very hard on this so that with parental consent, we can welcome youth ages 16 and 17 in both of our programs. And I want to thank you, every one of you who has made that dream come true. Secondly, I am thrilled to announce that we have received a matching gift from an anonymous donor. This matching gift will help us continue to provide top-notch services and support to the residents in both of our programs. And every dollar raised between now and May 31st will be matched dollar for dollar up to $25,000.
All right.
So first, we ask you to please consider making a tax-deductible donation before the end of May to help us make that match happen. Donations can easily be made on our website, which is trinityhavenindy.org. I said two things, but this one is an add-on, because I too cannot stand up here and not sing my own praises of thanks for Lee and Richie.
Come on now.
Y'all, there are not enough words in the English language to give this really thanks, but I'm going to try to do the best I can. Leanne, you have been my right hand since the very beginning. You have given more Haven. Even after your term as board chair ended last month, you volunteered more time and energy to leading our development efforts so that I can focus my time and energy on our staff and on our new residents. And I cannot thank you enough. We did it from
Yeah. 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 So good.
Now, immediately following the ribbon cutting, we will invite small groups into the house for tours of the first floor, which was beautifully designed by Mike Arnold, parishioner of Trinity Episcopal Church. The bedrooms and the shared space on the second and third floor were designed by Kelly Colby and Tiffany Skilling of Tiffany Skilling Interiors. Now, we can't show you up around the upper floors because we have youth in residence, but you are welcome to take a virtual tour that is on our website and on our YouTube channel. And all of these designers donated their time, their talent, and their treasure, and they also invited others into that to share their gifts and talents with us as well. And they made our home not only welcoming, durable, and absolutely gorgeous.
All right.
So one more time, Mike, Tiffany, and Kelly, thank you so much. Okay, it is now my privilege to introduce you to our next mayor of Indianapolis.
Yeah. Need a mic drop, Mayor. Need some mic drop moment. Need a mic drop.
Need a mic drop?
Yeah.
Let me begin by asking the programming committee behind Jen. See my former schedule? To our bishop and Mother Julia and Jenny and Ann and all gathered. Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me. Long ago, it was written that to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. We celebrate this glorious day, and I thank our gracious and loving God for it. And we gather in a season where we come together to mark our higher purpose and our common humanity. And this year, in this season, on days like today, we take time to pause, we take time to reflect on where we have been and where we are going.
Right.
In an ideal world, we wouldn't need days like today.
Come on now.
In an ideal world, we wouldn't need groups like Trinity Haven. But until we are living in that ideal world, I thank my God for Trinity Haven. Thanks to Trinity Haven, Indianapolis, as a city, has the opportunity to affirm one thing for every young LGBTQ person in our city. At Trinity Haven, you have a family who loves you for who you are. Such a rare commodity yet today. And it's one that we should all aspire to, even those who do not join us today. Like many other things, this pandemic has worsened an already dire situation. A disproportionate share of unsheltered residents of Indianapolis are LGBTQ youth, many of whom need the support to return to their families and to move on with the next phase of their life. At Trinity Haven, that support has been established by a community of faith. You know, without religious mandates for staff, for residents. And I want to tell you how great the city is for the services that are offered here. And particularly for the non-discriminatory manner in which those services are offered. So my thanks to Jenny, to everyone at Trinity Episcopal Church, and the community of support for today's gracious and much needed help. Each and every day, as we share a common humanity and higher purpose, I do thank God for community and the love that we share for each other. And I am hopeful that that love can be shared to all of Indianapolis. That makes us even better tomorrow than we are on this wonderful day. I pray.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. It is now my honor to introduce the Bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of Indianapolis, Central and Southern Indiana, Right Reverend Jennifer Baskerville Burrows.
Hello, Saints. I'm going to start off today with the chant that we would be chanting had this not been a time of pandemic. A chant that I hope some of you will know, and if you don't, I hope you'll join in. But this is a central belief of those of us in the Episcopal Church in the Diocese of Indianapolis. When I say God loves you, you say no exceptions. God loves you.
No exceptions.
God loves you.
No exceptions.
God loves you.
No exceptions.
In brick and mortar, in blood, sweat, and tears, Trinity Haven is a proclamation to that truth. God loves you. No exceptions. No exceptions. outreach, we need to do all we can to reinforce that message, because in so many places there are messages that are trying to show otherwise. And so we have to be loud. We have to be consistent. We have to persevere. And we have to be clear about God's unconditional love. And not just with our words, but in our actions. And all of you, of whatever faith and none, are testimony to that. So I want you to know that what you do, as you know, matters so deeply to those we have not even yet met, those who have not yet crossed this threshold. And I hope that this is just one of the places that we can show that love. It is my hope that this will be a model for places across the country, that wherever that need is being shown forth, that we can have a place, a home, a haven for the most vulnerable. As Bishop, it is my privilege often to bless things. And so we'll do that in just a moment. But I want to say that when you hear and feel, in our tradition, we would say that's the spirit moving hard.
Come on now.
Come on. Spirit moving just clearly and blessing this day. All of you coming together in ways that we have not been able to do for over a year is a blessing to this place. And those who are already resident have already blessed it. So I'm clear. We're just putting an exclamation point upon what God has already done.
That's it. Right.
So I'm going to sprinkle some holy water on the threshold of this Trinity Haven, and then invite you to pray with me. Gracious God, we thank you for this new home, for the shelter it will provide, for the moments of life that will be shared within it. We ask that you would dwell in this place richly, dwell among all of its spaces and rooms. Be present with those who will share meals and tables. Be present as they rise in the morning and lie down at night. Be present in the work and in the play. May your abundant spirit inhabit this home, making of it a sanctuary where hearts and lives are knit together. May this be a home that is like a harbor, a place of anchorage and refuge. May it be a garden of nourishment in which roots for a time can go deep. May this new home be a place of knowing and of being known, a place of shared tears and laughter, a place where forgiveness is easily asked and granted, and wounds are quickly healed. A place of joining, of becoming, of creating and reflecting, a place where all the diverse gifts are named and appreciated. Grant also, O God, that the days lived gratefully within these temporary walls would incline our hearts ever toward the glories of that better city built by you, O God. A city whose blessings are never ending and whose relationships are eternally unbroken. Amen. Thank you for being here today.
For loaning us the microphone and speaker system. Thank you so much. And thanks to Mike Hilton and the Indianapolis Chamber of Commerce for the great big scissors. I think we're ready to cut this ribbon. I'd like to invite our staff to please come forward and join me here, and our distinguished guests and speakers to flank the stairs on either side. Let's come do this, what we came here to do.
Well done.
No, I love you. You're my favorite.
I know there's no good place. No, he's right there. Okay.
I get you filmed stuck to the side.
Two.